UV coating on these lights is broken down and is starting to flake off and discolor. Polishing alone will not restore the lenses. I will be using 1000 and 3000 grit paper. Heavier grit sandpaper can be used if needed. First, start by taping off the surrounding area with painter's tape. Be sure to pre-soak the paper in water for about 15 minutes before using. Saturate the headlights with a spray bottle filled with water and a small amount of car soap. At this point, wipe the area with a clean towel. Once the area is dry, check to see if all the damaged area or imperfections were removed. If not, repeat this step as needed. Once the lens is free of defects and discoloration, change to 2000 or 3000 grit paper. This step will reduce the size of the wet sanding marks, thus making it easier to bring back the finish when polishing. Use the same wet sanding method as with the heavier grit paper. Dry and inspect the lens. It should have a nice uniform cloudy appearance. Repeat this step if needed to achieve the uniform look. Step 2, polishing. I'll be using a Makita 9227 rotary, 4-inch foam pads, Manzurna's Super Intense Polish, and PO 106FF finishing polish. Apply 2 pea-sized amounts of Super Intense polish to the 4-inch orange pad. Spread the polish on the lens before turning on the machine. Set the rotary to 1800 or 1500 RPM and begin polishing. Using little pressure and an overlapping motion, work the polish in until it is broken down. Keep the rotary moving at all times. This will help reduce the chance of the plastic getting too hot and damaging the lenses. This polishing step will remove the haze left from wet sanding. When polishing headlights, I prefer to use 4-inch pads over 6.5-inch or even 8-inch pads. The smaller pads don't generate as much heat, which lowers the risk of getting the plastic too hot and causing damage to the lens. I also find them easier to maneuver around the small area of the lens. Once the polish has broken down, remove the residue and inspect the area. If a cloudiness is still present, repeat this step. Be sure to allow the lens to cool between polishing to prevent heat damage to the plastic. Finishing polish. This is the finishing step and will bring back the clarity of the lens. Apply 2 pea-sized amounts of polish to the polishing pad. Spread the polish on the lens, set the machine to 1200 or 1500 RPMs, and work in the polish. Use the same polishing method as with the previous polish. Once the polish has broken down, remove the residue and inspect the area. The lens should now be clear with no signs of cloudiness or haze. If not, repeat this step.